They say betrayal doesn't break you all at once. No, it cuts you slow, slice by slice. And the first cut feels just like love. For 35 years, Maggie Reynolds was my right hand, my sounding board, my best friend. We built an empire from scratch. Late nights fueled by cheap coffee and big dreams, celebrating every victory like kids who just won the lottery. And when the time came to cash in, to ride off into retirement, I thought we'd toast to a future well-earned. Instead, I woke up one Tuesday morning to find my life dismantled, my bank account empty, my investments gone. Every penny I had bled out, leaving nothing but a quiet, hollow echo where my security once lived. At first, I blamed the bank, a glitch, a hacker, anything but Maggie. Because Maggie was family. We survived recessions, betrayals from others, storms that would have sunk lesser captains. She had my trust in her pocket, closer than my own heartbeat. But the numbers don't lie. Transfers signed in my name. Only I never signed them. Accounts I'd never heard of. A trail so carefully woven that it felt like a masterwork of betrayal, years in the making. My first instinct? To disappear, to let the world swallow me whole and pretend none of it ever happened. But you don't spend a lifetime building something from ashes only to let someone else write your ending. So, I fought. I started with old files, dusty doxes tucked away in my garage, and the deeper I dug, the uglier the truth got. Maggie hadn't just stolen my money, she'd stolen my future. The house I planned to grow old in, mortgaged under my name and stripped bare. The vacation fund we used to daydream about, gone before it even existed. The worst part wasn't the theft, it was the betrayal. Every birthday toast, every "you're like a sister to me," every tear shed in hard times, they were all just smoke, covering a fire that burned for decades. But even snakes leave tracks if you know where to look. I traced small discrepancies through old ledgers, cross-referenced account numbers, called banks that didn't want to talk. Each conversation ended the same: a pause, a click, a dial tone. Someone was pulling strings to keep me quiet. Then came the phone call. Late one night, as I sat at my kitchen table surrounded by papers, Maddie's voice dripped through the line like honey hiding a knife. "Stop digging," she whispered, calm as a summer breeze. "Some truths ain't worth knowing." The line went dead. That's when fear turned to fire. I widened the search, hired an old friend from the accounting world to dig where I couldn't. What we found was bigger than theft. Shell companies, offshore accounts, a network Maggie had built using my name, my reputation. She hadn't just betrayed me, she'd framed me, making me the perfect fall guy for her escape plan. Every step forward felt dangerous. Strange cars idled near my house at night. My email was hacked, threatening letters slipped under my door. Maggie wasn't working alone, and someone wanted me to stop looking. But I've been poor before. I've been scared before. And the thing about losing everything, you've got nothing left for them to take. It all came to a head on a rainy Thursday morning. I asked Maggie to meet me at the old diner where we used to celebrate our wins. The smell of burnt coffee and fried eggs clung to the air as I slid a manila folder across the table. Inside was every receipt, every forged signature, every lie stripped bare. My hands trembled, but not from fear, from 35 years of love twisted into this moment. "You could have asked," I said quietly, my voice raw. "We could have figured it out together. But you didn't just take my money, you took my trust." For the first time in decades, Maggie had no words. Her mask cracked, just a flicker, but I saw every year of deception flash across her face. Then came the sirens. The officers stepped in, cuffs glinting under the diner's neon lights. Maggie didn't look at me as they let her out, but I didn't need her eyes to know the truth. She'd never been my friend. Justice came, but it didn't taste sweet. Betrayal doesn't wash off easy. Nights stayed long and lonely. Trust hard to rebuild. But piece by piece, I started over. Sold what I had left, started a small consultancy on my own terms. Each day, a little stronger. Each night, a little less haunted. They say betrayal cuts deep, but I learned something in the aftermath. Perseverance, that cuts deeper. Because while Maggie thought she buried me, all she did was plant me. And I grew back sharper, wiser, unbreakable. So, here's my advice. Trust is fragile. Money can vanish. Friends can turn. But strength, the kind you forge in fire and heartbreak, that they can never steal.